How to rearrange harder equations in 138 seconds. Let's go. This one's going to be tricky, guys, but it's super important, so pay close attention. We get asked to make x the subject of y equals x plus z squared over x plus z. Now, what is it that makes this one tricky to rearrange? It's going to be the fact that we have an x on the top and the bottom of our fraction. So the first thing we're going to need to do is move our x plus z over to the other side, then rearrange and factorize. Let me show you what I mean. So first off, to move the x plus z over to the other side, we're going to multiply both sides of our equation by x plus z. Let me write that up here and put it in brackets, times by x plus z times by x plus z. What's that going to give us? On the left hand side, we're going to have y times by x plus z. And on the right hand side, we're going to have x plus z squared. Why? Because the times by x plus z and the divide by x plus z there cancel out. Now, we're going to need to make x the subject, but at the moment we have an x in this bracket. So we're going to need to expand these brackets next. So we're going to do y times by x, that's going to be yx, and then y times by z, that's simply going to be yz. That's going to be equal to x plus z squared. Now, the next step is going to be to move all of our x's over to one side and all of our other letters over to the other side. Let's do that now. So we're going to subtract x from both sides. That's going to move this x over to the left-hand side. And then we're going to subtract yz from both sides. That's going to move the yz over. Let me just quickly write that in. Minus yz. Minus yz. Now what are we going to have on the left hand side? We have yx minus x, and on the right hand side we have z squared minus yz. Finally, what are we going to do? Well, here we have two separate terms in x, but we cannot do the subtraction because one's got a letter attached to it. So we're actually going to have to pull the x out and factorize this, pulling out a factor of x. So on the left hand side, we're going to have x times by y minus 1. That's because x times by y is going to give us xy, and x times by minus 1 is going to give us minus x. That is going to be equal to our right hand side, which was z squared minus yz. And finally, guys, to move our y minus 1 over to the other side, at the moment it's being multiplied by the x, so we're going to divide both sides by y minus 1, divide by y minus 1, divide by y minus 1. What is that going to give us? It's going to give us x on the left hand side, and on the right hand side it's going to give us z squared minus yz over y minus 1, guys. Our final answer. That one was tricky, but make sure you understand it because it comes up all the time.